The world is a complicated place, where peace is not stable. In fact, most countries have had, or still have conflicts. Some of the biggest countries you know today, may no exist in the future, and some of these countries, may not exist in 2050. That's only 31 years away, of course, if you're watching this in 2019. Today, I present you, the top 10 countries, that probably, won't exist in 2050. Number 10. Spain. Spain may come as a surprise to some of you, but the Iberian nation has been struggling for the past decades. To begin with, Spain's debt is sitting at 98% of its economy, and it will soon reach 100%, which will cause some chaos, as Spain won't be able to pay its debt. But Spain isn't just suffering economically. Some of you may have heard about Spain's many independence movements, such as Catalonia. Catalans feel like they don't belong in Spain, as they say that they're too culturally different. Catalans have also made Catalan the language in schools, which means that Catalan kids can only learn Catalan. Catalonia has also had a few referendums, and in each referendum, more and more people vote for independence. Catalonia isn't on its though, as other regions such as Valencia, and the Balearic Islands, are supporting Catalonia. Catalonia isn't the only thing Spain has to worry about. The Basque Country is a region in the north of Spain, which has expressed its desire for independence, by making terrorist organizations attacking Spain. The Basque Country also has Basque as the official language in its schools, meaning that Basque kids can't learn Spanish in school. The Basque Country isn't going to stop anytime soon, and until they get independence, the community of Madrid, or just Madrid, will have to keep suffering terrorist attacks from its own country. There are still more regions in Spain that seek independence, such as Galicia, Andalusia, Asturias, Leon, Cantabria, Valencia, the Canary Islands, the Balearic Islands, Aragon, Navarre, who have suggested an union with the Basque Country. And believe it or not, Castile. That's right, Spain wants to leave Spain. Most of these regions also have their own languages, and teach them in school. Spain really isn't a united country, and I don't think they'll survive another 30 years. Number 9. Libya. Libya is another country which is very near collapsing. The North African country has had 2 civil wars in less than a decade, that's right. 2 civil wars in less than 10 years, and the second one is still active. Since 2011, peace hasn't existed in Libya, and right now, it doesn't seem like the war is going to stop. The nation is divided in 3 major parts. Cyrenaica, which is the biggest of these, and controls the east of Libya. Tripolitania, which controls the northwest, and Fezzan, which controls the southwest. ISIS and Al-Qaeda, the major Islamic terrorist organizations, are also taking part in the war. The president of the nation, Fayez al-Sarraj, is from Tripoli, Tripolitania, and he wants to govern Libya through his regime. If the war doesn't end soon, we might be seeing 3 new countries in the African map. Number 8. Belgium. The cultural division between Flanders and Wallonia is bringing Belgium to an end. The Belgian government is very aware of this problem, and it's trying to keep the nation together. Flanders controls the north of Belgium, and have most of the population, with a larger economy than Wallonia. The Flemish people have already expressed their desire for independence, or a possible union with the Netherlands, which is culturally much more similar. Wallonia controls the south of Belgium, as is bigger in size. However, Wallonia have a smaller population and economy. The Walloon people have also expressed their desire for an union with France, or maybe even an independent nation. The Walloon people are more closer to France culturally. The capital of Belgium, Brussels, is located in Flemish territory, however, Wallonia claims it as theirs. Unless Wallonia and Flanders agree on who keeps Brussels, peace won't exist in the nation. There's also the possibility of creating an independent state for Brussels, without being governed by Flanders or Wallonia. It's also worth noticing the German-speaking community in the east of Belgium, although this part has a much smaller population, economy and size than both Flanders and Wallonia. Belgium is one of the most important countries in the European Union, and it's even the capital of the EU. For now, peace won't reign in the nation, and unless both the Walloons and Flemish people choose to live under the same nation, Belgium won't reach the year 2050. Number 7. Iraq. Iraq is another nation that has been struggling to keep itself together. Since the Middle Eastern territory independenced from the United Kingdom, the country has had conflict after conflict, and they never end. Saddam Hussein, the long-lasting dictator of Iraq, only made the conflicts worse. Right now, Iraq is split into three major parts. The part the government controls, the Islamic State, or just ISIS, and the Kurds at the north. The Kurds are a big ethnic group that control parts of Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Iran, and Armenia. Kurdistan, the land of the Kurds, wants independence, and to have control of their own region without Iraqi control. The Islamic State wants to control Iraq and Syria, as its original name was even, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. ISIS have a huge GDP, and a large military personnel with plenty of weapons and war vehicles. The Iraqi government is trying to end the conflicts by taking over ISIS and Kurdistan, but by how it seems, this war isn't going to end soon. If Iraq want to survive another 30 years, they'll need to make everyone happy so they can live together in peace. In my opinion, I doubt Iraq will have the strength to survive till 2050. Number 6. North Korea. The Korean nation has also been struggling for the past decades. The small country has a very small GDP, and the government spends over 60% of it into the military. This means that North Korea only has 40% of its GDP available. Since the death of Kim Jong-il, people have started to doubt whether or not North Korea would survive, and by the looks of it, North Korea's end is coming soon. The country is slowly losing hope on its leader, as technology is very quickly advancing in the nation. The small nation doesn't have enough resources to last much longer, which had open-ended the idea of unifying North Korea and China, as both countries are allied and have very similar governments. If North Korea become another region of China, it would benefit their economy and resources. Another possibility is unifying Korea, meaning that North and South Korea could unite to become just Korea. This would also extremely benefit North Korea, as its economy would drastically increase. However, with both of these options, the dictatorship of Kim Jong-un would have to reach its end. For now, North Korea simply does not have enough resources inside itself to survive until 2050. Number 5. Yemen. At its 29 years of age, the country is already struggling and at war. Much like Iraq, Yemen is also split into three major sides. On one side, we've got the Houthis, which are led by the Supreme Political Council. On the other side, we've got the Cabinet of Yemen, which is led by the current government of Yemen, and it has the support of Saudi Arabia and other Islamic countries. Finally, the third side is another Muslim terrorist organization. This time, Al-Qaeda is fighting to take over Yemen. Al-Qaeda have support from Ansar al-Sharia, and other Islamic terrorist organization. The country has been 4 years at war, and it's projected that by the end of 2019, 230,000 people would have lost their lives in Yemeni territory by the war. This number is only going to increase until something happens, and the nation either splits or unites. Yemen hasn't even been a country for 30 years, and the country is already breaking apart. So I really doubt the country will exist for another 3 decades. For now, the government is doing all they can. Number 4. China. China is another country that isn't very united, as Hong Kong and other regions function independently, without the laws or control of China. Some parts like Hong Kong are already recognized as countries by many. But that's not it for China. The Oriental nation is one of the most polluted places in the world. Skies in Beijing are gray all year for pollution. That's right, in cities like Beijing, you can barely see the sun, no matter how hot it is. Also, over 1 million people die annually in China for air and water pollution, although, this number can be much higher in some years. If you think things look pretty bad for China, then wait to hear about Shanghai. Shanghai is China's biggest city, in both population and size, but this city might not be in world maps much longer. As the global warming melts the poles, the sea levels get higher and higher, and Shanghai is a coastal city, which means that Shanghai might be underwater in as little as 2050. If all these things keep up like this, China might not reach the second half of the 21st century. Number 3. Somalia. Entering our podium is another nation at war. The small African nation has been struggling ever since it became an independent state. Somalia is fighting two fronts: Al-Qaeda and the Republic of Somaliland. The Republic of Somaliland is a self-declared state at the north of Somalia. This region has already declared its independence, although no countries recognize it as an independent state yet. The Republic of Somaliland has a lot of weapons and war vehicles, which have helped them in the war. Somalia is trying to keep the nation together, however, this is just doing the opposite effect, as Somaliland already have their own government, flag, currency and much more. Meanwhile, Al-Qaeda is just trying to take over the country, just like with Yemen. Al-Qaeda and Somaliland are both against Somalia, which has kind of made this two sides team up to end with the Somali government. After 10 years of war, and possibly much more, the nation is not going to hold on much longer. Extreme poverty is also affecting the nation, as the people in the country can't even buy food from the markets. I don't think Somalia will survive another 3 decades and reach 2050. Number 2. The Maldives. Our silver goes to the Maldives, a small country made up of islands in the Indian Ocean. Unlike all the other countries, the Maldives have a complete different reason to why they may not exist by 2050. The global warming is rising sea levels, and the Maldives is suffering its effects. The highest point in the Maldives is just 2.4 meters above sea level, which is extremely low. The president and the officials from the Muslim nation are trying to buy land from other countries, so they can move their people to safe land. If the president doesn't hurry up, the 500,000 people that live in the Maldives would have their lives at risk. It's predicted that the Maldives will be completely underwater by the year 2050. Until then, the people would have to fight the constant floods. The Maldives isn't the only region at danger, though. Other nations such as Kiribati, Vanuatu, and Tuvalu might be underwater by 2052. And finally, number 1. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. You may be surprised, but the UK has been struggling to keep itself together for the past decade. Since the independence movement of Scotland started rising, the UK has just been breaking. In 2014, Scotland had a referendum, in which almost half of the people voted to leave the United Kingdom. But that's not it for the UK. In 2016, most of the country voted to leave the European Union, and it's predicted that they will leave by 2019. However, this vote was mostly decided by England, and the English, as most of the votes to leave the European Union came from England. Because England have a much larger population than Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, the vote was pretty much decided by England. This and other reasons are provoking fights and conflicts in the nation. The UK haven't left the European Union yet, but when they do, Scotland might have another referendum to leave the UK and join the European Union, as most Scots are in favor of staying in the European Union. If Scotland independence, the nation will break, and it's likely Wales and Northern Ireland do too. It's also important to notice that Cornwall, a region in England, is also in favor of independence, which could split the nation even more. The United Kingdom isn't very united, and it might not survive another 3 decades. And that's it for today. The UK took the gold spot in nations that won't exist in 2050. Did I miss any country? Do you think any of these will survive or not? Tell me in the comments. I don't want to make the video much longer, so I'll have to go now. Peace.